How did you get into charity work and eventually becoming chief exec?
I saw a job come up at Forest Holme Hospice, and it was for an events and corporate fundraiser. And I had no idea what a hospice was. I think after I had my 2 children, I think just the nature of working in a hospice, I did find that quite difficult, quite challenging. And I think it's up to those who are looking for a job to find not only a cause that they care about, but a charity size that will work well for their personality type.
How would you describe the difference between big and small charities and the differences in those? Welcome to the Life and Loss podcast. I'm Shanali, and today we're turning the tables and I am interviewing the interviewer, Hannah O Hare from Forest Holme Hospice Charity. Hi Hannah.
Hi, thank you.
How did you get into charity work and eventually becoming chief exec?
Well, I never really had aspirations to work in the charity sector. I went to Bournemouth University to do event management, worked in sort of hospitality and events for a while, and then I saw a job come up at Forest Holme Hospice, and it was for an events and corporate fundraiser. And I had no idea what a hospice was. I was only, I think, in my early 20s at the time. No experience, luckily, of hospice care, so it was all very new to me, but I thought it sounds like it's a great career to do something worthwhile. So I didn't have any experience, but I prepared a lot for the interview and managed to get that job. And then I've been at Forest Holme now for nearly 13 years. And I've just worked my way up in different roles within that charity. So fundraising manager, head of development, interim chief exec, and then for the past few years I've been chief exec of the charity.
And what's your favourite part about being chief exec?
I love being chief exec because I am a very creative person. So I like the big ideas and I like creating a good culture within an organisation. So creating a good team, finding people that can all do jobs better than me in different roles, and having that mix, and that excites me, I think. And within a chief exec role, you can take, with the board's agreement, you can take the charity in any direction you want or try new things, which is, for me, is really exciting.
Is there anything you find particularly hard about the job?
I think after I had my 2 children, I think just the nature of working in a hospice, I did find that quite difficult, quite challenging, because our charity office is based within the hospice, so we're always meeting people that have lost a loved one. We're hearing stories about people with life-limiting illnesses, and I think when I had children, the thought of anything like that happening to my family, I thought, I'm going to struggle to cope with that. And I did struggle a little bit, but over time, I think the benefits outweigh that worry, and I realised that we're making such a positive difference to the lives of so many people, and that bit just makes me feel proud, and it excites me to work for Forest Holme every day.
Yeah, of course. Is there any advice you'd give to someone who was trying to get into the charity sector?
I think the charity sector is often not an obvious career choice for a lot of people. I think people think that it's unpaid potentially, or there's not many career opportunities. But I'd say it's an amazing sector to be in, and often goes quite unnoticed. But you can work for a cause where you genuinely feel passionate about something, or you feel like you care about something, and rather than just lining the pockets of CEOs of private companies, you're actually making a difference to the lives of either your local community or on a national level. So I'd really recommend for people to start looking into that as a potential career option. And there's different roles within each charity that will suit different personality types as well. I hope that you're finding this episode useful. Perhaps you have a question that you'd like to ask. You can do this by commenting below. Your input shapes the conversations we have and the topics that we explore, so don't hesitate to reach out and let us know what you'd like to hear more of.
How would you describe the difference between big and small charities and the differences in those?
So you've got your big organisations where you probably got more career development, so there's more opportunities, but you're probably more likely to be fixed in one role, or one specific set of job tasks. Whereas if you work for a smaller charity, sometimes you get the chance to do lots of different roles within an organisation and sometimes have more impact. So different organisations will suit different people, and I think it's up to those who are looking for a job to find not only a cause that they care about, but a charity size that will work well for their personality type. But I would just say, for any job or any charity you're going for, you have to be passionate about the charity you're working for, because you'll have to stand up in front of people to talk about their work. And if you don't believe in it yourself, I think that won't come across to who you're speaking to.
That. Yeah. And any advice if someone was getting into the charity sector and had an interview, any advice for what their CV would look like or what their interview skills would look like?
So I really think when you're applying for different jobs, your CV, rather than just sending a generic CV to loads and loads of companies, really think about why I want to work for someone, and let them know why you want to work for someone. So your CV should always come with a cover letter, and you should always say what interests you about working for that organisation and what skills you will bring to that team. And then on your CV, make sure you're looking at the desirable and the essential criteria that they're looking for that role, and making sure that that's incorporated on your CV. So for example, if they're asking for administration skills, make sure on your CV that if you've got administration skills, you've put it on there. And I know that sounds obvious, but from looking at hundreds and hundreds of CVs over the years, people don't tailor their CVs very often to the job they're applying for, and that can rule you out and rule some good candidates out. And then in terms of actually going for the job, if you're lucky enough to get called for a job interview, always go above and beyond. So if you've got a task that they've set you beforehand, really think about how you can stand out above anyone else. And that might just be calling the charity that you want to work for, getting advice from the team, asking to do shadowing days, for example, asking them why they love working there, and really just finding out all those little details that will make you stand out in your interview process.
Sure.
And yeah, I just think the charity sector is a great sector to work in, and if anyone wants any advice, I'd be happy to speak to anyone as well.
Good to know. Thank you, Hannah, and thank you for listening to the Life and Loss podcast.
Please remember to like, comment and share this episode to help us reach more people. At Forest Holme Hospice Charity, we offer this podcast and many other resources to support people through life's most difficult times. If our work has made a difference to you, please consider making a donation by visiting the link in the description. Thank you.